That's what's important.
Punch, but Rock is able to move Toney with the right hands. Now Toney lands another
advantage for Rahman, who also has 2.5 inches in arm. Anniversary, unofficial.
Frankie Lau.
Hasim Rahman has never looked physically better as he goes to the center of the ring. Will it make a difference? One interesting bond between the two corners. Both Joe Frazier and Riddick Bowe and Kenny Norton to the heavyweight championship of the world. Of the two proteges, Thel Torrance, who drank that Emmanuel to try to make the other fighter come at him more aggressively and set up counter-punching opportunities.
But I think also when he talks a lot like that, he really is like...
And earlier in the bout than some thought would be the case. Good body shot by Toney with the right hand.
Toney's working a nice...
On the basis of that effectiveness, perhaps he had the edge in the round.
I think the most important indicator is one big punch. He's going after the body like he is here. Just hit him wherever you can because...
Inside by Rahman. Much more active in the early going than Toney might have expected him to be, and Rahman lands another right cross across the top.
His jab is working very good. He's being very physical right now with James, but I think it's very smart. When he gets in close, he's kind of pushing his left hand on the side of James's head instead of just pulling it back. But doing a lot of nice things, very physical.
Good pot shot right hand over the top by Toney. Division. Giroff had Thel Torrance in his corner. Torrance is, of course, in Rahman's corner tonight. Away to the body.
This could turn out to be a tremendously exciting brawl, and if they keep fighting...
You know, it's Rahman is sort of asking the question. You know, being fat has to count for something. You just can't be fat and not have to pay for it.
Who can handle the attrition over the long haul? This is the second round, and they're fighting at a very fast pace for heavyweights. In round two, Hasim Rahman threw 79 punches. That's a big punch output. Landed 26. James Toney, 25 out of 61. Heavyweight average is 48 thrown per round. Together they threw 140 punches in the last round. Big right hand up top by Toney. Rahman handles it easily and comes forward.
Been effective with.
Rahman crashing a right hand off Toney's skull and gets him with a good right hand for Rahman as he blocks away. Toney swinging hard with the right hand over the top. Partial land.
Like a middleweight. He's got small hands. They're not a heavyweight's hands. So he's going to have to land a lot of those to get Rahman's 9 years fighting a guy who hasn't won an important fight in 5 years. That's what's important. Terrific round.
They effectively. Particularly when he lands more than half the punches he throws in a round, as he did there, landing 31 out of 50. Extremely busy. Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 3?
I'm not blind shot. Toney's just too crafty and lands that right hand too often. 2-1, Toney.
Sleeping in a dentist chair. And that seems to get him through fights where he's
comfortable in the ring. And when he first started his career, he had his trainer, Bill Miller, used to spend a lot of time with him showing him those old fight films of the fighters that relax and how to roll your shoulders. Physically being a bigger man, and that's it, by pushing that left hand over his face and just mauling him.
I think consistent throughout the round, landing his jab and sometimes punches inside. Toney landing at the much higher connect percentage. But Rahman throwing more punches and continuing to throw an average of... Right hand for Rahman, Toney misses with his. That was a good moment for Hasim. Little left hook inside for Rahman. Toney misses.
This jab is a very effective weapon right here. And you see that extra weight when James misses a punch. He can't maintain his balance anymore. The weight
against the ropes. Rahman backed away and waited for a chance to fire the jab again.
Out of shape or something, it's where they miss a punch. They can't maintain their balance good. Compared to when they're young, they can regroup and come right back with another punch.
Rahman had another big round jabbing in the 5th. He's averaging 100, or I should say he's averaging 33 jabs per round. He's thrown 165 of them already in the fight. Again, Thel Torrance said to Rahman, a round to go. Just win all the rounds with your jab. That's the plan.
Come on, pick him up.
Toney comes back with a little bit more fire now to begin the 6th after having taken some of the 5th round off. Good quick left hook inside by James Toney. able to move on his feet, seemingly. Leans against the ropes, and Rahman gets a chance to wail away, not really landing anything big, but tapping Toney on the shoulder, tapping him on the ribcage. James comes back with a 3 or 4 punch combination. Toney lands an uppercut. Good left hook to the body. Fast
Right, muscle him inside, stick.
Now, is Rock flagrantly leaning on James here to try to wear him out?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He feels very good about it.
Division.
Come on, don't use your elbow.
Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 6?
You know, Jim, Hasim Rahman has won 3 rounds in a row, without doubt. 4, 5, and 6. He's doing all the fighting. James Toney really hasn't picked it up the way he did the early rounds. 58, 56, 4 rounds to 2. Rahman.
Jersey commission as due to accidental butt. Now we go into the second half of the fight. Toney begins to land those quick counter shots again.
Rahman could maintain his confidence against a guy who's really difficult to fight, somebody unlike anybody he's fought before. And so far it seems that Rahman is very much in control of himself and still trying to follow the game plan.
Yep, it's fighting very hard as a heavyweight.
Stiff jab by Toney.
Did James land?
My career to fight a hard 12 rounds.
But this round, to me, looks very promising for James.
Because he's starting to land sharply
He's
again.
landing punches, and Rahman's getting a little sloppier with his delivery, and I can see James's mind starting to think a little bit now. James is used to those type situations. Sometimes he may go 12, 15 rounds.
To get into the ring and spar. He believes he sparred as many as 300 rounds for this fight, which would be a super extraordinary number. Can you be fully conditioned to fight solely in...
Forget running, forget beating any bag, because that's closest to the reality.
Hard right hand by Toney over the top. His best punch in a couple of rounds. Together a little burst here. Toney's hand speed coming back, and he's landing with sharp impact again, as was the case in rounds 2 and 3.
Rock is fighting a smart fight, but he still hasn't shown me the speed that I would have thought if he'd have got punches out with a little bit more speed and intensity.
He lands a series of right hands there, crashing a couple of them off the top of Toney's skull. Toney gets to show you again how well he takes a punch, but Rock is able to move Toney with the right hands. Now Toney lands another right to cut. Score the damage they see in a fight. Will they score the bodies?
I don't think so.
I think it's about the leather. Toney gets him with a sharp comeback right hand there. Good counter uppercut by James Toney.
Rahman lands some good punches, but I think the more cleaner blows still are landed by Toney, just he don't have the power to hurt Rahman.
Toney landed a flush left hook. Rahman kept on coming. Crowd is starting to chant Toney, Toney, Toney. May be willing to lose a round to make Toney work for a full...
He'd been hit by a hard right hand and knocked across the ring, but it was really just a case of his balance.
A rare occurrence so far in that round.
Get out, get out. Come on, don't use his elbow.
Right hand, come back with the left hook. He's trying to get Rock to stop that counter right hand of Toney's.
That's right, and the same thing I hear Freddie Roach was telling James, he can come back with a left hook.
Since he's been a heavyweight, Toney has tended to dominate the late rounds of his fights.
Don't use your elbow. Come on, don't use your elbow.
Take his time, and even though Rock with his punching is more like Ali call it a washwoman type, nothing that effective. He just throwing punches, but nothing is really landing. He's wearing himself out, and James going to land those clean punches is going to catch the attention of the fans and the judges.
79 punches. We're into the last 3 rounds of a pretty good fight. Seems like a close fight. Harold, how do you have it so far?
Okay, Jim, 87-84, 6 rounds to 3, Hasim Rahman. Jim, he's just outworking him, landing the cleaner shots. Jim, I got a comment. When James Toney goes, he loses balance, goes flying across the ring, the judges can see that it's not a clean blow that's knocking him across the ring and making him lose his balance. I mean, you can't fool a judge by losing your balance, that's for darn sure. But that cut is looking nastier, and remember, if they do stop the fight, we go to the scorecards. That's the Rahman cut.
I have it 5-3-1 for Rahman.
Bottom line is if Harold Letterman's right, and if there are no knockdowns, Toney would have to win the last 3 rounds to pull out a draw. Rahman clearly tiring, still able to pump the jab, although in the last round he dropped to 29, but still, if the mandate was to throw 30 jabs around, generally speaking, Rahman has fulfilled that. And he jabs again to the body as he comes inside.
Come on, let's go.
It's interesting. After the first right hand that Rahman landed on Toney, I think, in the first round, I haven't saw Rahman land too much of a really devastating, clean punch since then. He's winning the fight, but James Toney's defense is still amazing. The most punch he gets hit with is the jab. And outside from the jab, he's getting away from most of those power shots.
Well, Hasim Rahman told us yesterday, he said, I have to jab. I have to focus on the jab. I have to build every round behind it. If he wins the fight, he will have won it with his jab.
But about the same token, James has landed probably about 15 or 20 clean, impressive blows during the course of the fight.
The cut above Rahman's left eye is in a very bad position. They've done a good job in his corner. It has not compromised him so far. There's a straight left hand into the face of Hasim Rahman. And you can see how easily he walks through James Toney's punching power at this point. But Toney can change the pace and suddenly pull out the 95-mile-an-hour fastball to shock you. Rahman pushing, hunting and pecking, trying to find a new way to hit Toney to the body. Pretty close round 10. As usual, Rock has been busier.
Rock is pushing the fight and actually doing what he's supposed to do. But if James just doesn't have the stamina to punch, but every time that James wants to punch, he pretty much...
Heavyweight champions over the years have built their dominance on the jab. Joe Louis, great jabber. Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, Sonny Liston, tremendous jab. Lennox Lewis, dominant when he threw 30 jabs per round.
Yep.
Does he have to do more to take the title?
Rahman's never had a knockout path.
From natural heavyweights, let's say.
And of course, Lennox Lewis. And he got away as Toney tried to counter. Now Toney with that big right hand over the top. Trying to catch Rahman on the good eye.
There you go again. He rolling Rahman's right hand and countering back with his right hand.
But even if Toney wins the round, he would seem to be up against it on the scorecards because Rahman has generally been able to outwork him through the fight.
And that's what it's coming down to. It's punch for punch. James is the more...
30 of those shots.
Stop.
And sometimes it's been missing.
He's showing desire, but it's also showing, to me, a weakness in the punch. It didn't take the full impact the way it looked.
And run of James Toney.
Favored in the fight, realizing that he did not truly condition himself to try to become heavyweight champion.
And he spared all.
He has an eating disorder. He simply cannot stop himself from eating.
That's the only thing that could explain
Hey,
it.
Jim, he was fighting 50 pounds less than this just 3 years ago when he fought for the cruiserweight title.
77 pounds tonight, above the weight at which he knocked out Michael Nunn to win the middleweight title in 1991. His sharper, better connects. At the end of the day, Rahman is the one who's
going to do better. Hasim Rahman fought a very, very gutty fight. 160.
Tommy Kazmarek Veteran New Jersey judge. Notable fight. Had James Toney a 15-13 win.